move so slow. High in the desert, but I'm rolling in the snow. Now I feel so warm in a really cold place. A million lights in a very tight space. She's looking up and she's waiting on the big bang. We're still here waiting, but the sun is still hiding. This is a warning. We got to.
All right, that was Warning by Stick here. One of the things that we like to do on the station, this is a live show, and to keep it interesting, we were going to invite some people to call in. Steve and I have been thinking about doing a call-in show, a call-in advice show, where we will give you advice. So if you'd like to call in...
on small problems, like nothing real serious. We're not professionally trained. Or
no, this is for entertainment purposes only.
If your cat's being a dick or something, you want revenge.
That's right. On that note, our phone number is 867-457-CJUC. Oh, and we got a caller. Look at that. Okay. 1 second here. Give me a second to hit the on button, turn up the slider. Hopefully I get this the first time around. Hello, you're on the air with CJUC.
One button, turn up the slider. Hopefully I get this the first time around.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, you're on the air.
Hi.
Who's this?
Oh, good. I love CJUC.
You're on the air. Who's this? Oh, good.
Oh, there's a bit of an echo in the background. You might have to turn yourself down. Turn down the radio in the background there.
It's Cross-Covid.
I'm sorry, who are you looking for?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you great.
Is it better?
It's better.
Yeah, so Liz Cross-Covid, this is my favorite station.
Oh, that's great. Great to hear.
But I heard you guys help solve different problems and shit.
Yeah, we do. That's the point of the show. We're doing a call-in show. We're going to give you some advice and try to help you out.
But my question is, where does one find a place in town who doesn't want to live with roommates and doesn't shed bricks of gold? You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Well, I might be able to help you. I built an old tree fort up on the clay cliffs there that is very spacious. No charge. Everyone can stay there whenever they want. You have to bring your own little roof and blankets, but this floor is solid and nice, easy access to downtown.
That's right. If you give us your contact info, if you send us an email to teamcjuc@gmail.com, we'll give you the coordinates and show you where this where the special treehouse is. I actually remember helping Steve build this one. It's tucked in. It's a top secret location.
Well, is it all year round? Because I need to stay in the winter there too.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it's pet friendly too. We built a little ramp so dogs can get up and down, and people that can't climb ladders well.
That's right.
Is Steve's mic on?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is Steve's mic on?
Is Steve mic on? Sorry, I'm not quite sure if I'm catching that.
Steve's mic, is it on?
My mic, can you testing?
Testing.
Sounds kind of far away.
Oh, yeah.
We're about 4 feet away from Brett, so that might be it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here, I'm going to pass the phone to you. This is we're still learning the systems here. Here, Steve, why don't you just repeat that so our caller can hear?
Hello there, caller one. Sorry, I missed your name there.
I love your show, guys. I'm happy that
I'm so glad you like it. Do you got some favorite tunes you want to hear?
I'd love to hear some tunes, yeah, but let's get back to that accommodation.
Oh, you need a place, yeah. So, send in an email. I'll give you direct locations. It's pet-friendly, wall-free, roof-free, solid ground, keep you dry. And, Yukon prices, it'd be like barely $2,000 a month. You could probably do like $1,900 or something. Like, all in. All in.
Terrific. It sounds terrific.
Yeah.
I got lots of options here for $2,000 a month.
Yeah. This is no roommates, though. This is when you're...
regular. Yeah. Talking about regular pay here, got groceries to do and gas and this and that and knickknacks and stuff.
You can walk to all the amenities from here. Yeah, I think you'll really like it. 2 floors.
That's great, guys.
Yeah.
All right. 2 floors.
2 floors. Yeah, so send in your information and we'll hook you up with that.
That sounds great. All right, we're going to be
All
on to
right.
our next
Wow.
caller. So thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling in.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. Let's move on to a new song here. Steve, do you have any requests that you like?
There was a song, I want to say it's called Home by Weezer.
Home by Weezer. Okay.
Am I saying that right? If it's
I
I was
see.
thinking about Weezer on the way home, but like it's been a while.
I see Phone Home by Lil Wayne. I see Hash Pipe by Weezer. How about this? I'm gonna,
Anything off the Blue albums.
all right.
always.
I'm going to play a classic Weezer song. This one is Say It Ain't So
I remember when this video came out.
by Weezer. Yeah, you're dating yourself right now, Steve. All right. So Say It Ain't So by Weezer on Redbeard Radio, CJUC 92.5 FM.
Oh yeah. Alright. Somebody's hiding, it's drowning my icebox. Somebody's cold one is giving me chills. Guess I'll just close my eyes. Oh yeah, alright, feels good inside. Flip on the telly, wrestle with Jimmy. Something is bubbling behind my back. The bottle is ready to blow. Say it ain't so. Your joke is a heartbreaker. Say it ain't so. My love is a life taker.
So one of the things that makes Redbeard Radio special is that we like to talk over the music. We're having our own conversation in the background here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to like put the music up just so you can hear just a little bit of it there. So what makes this album so special, Steve?
I just loved it when it first and it's weird. Like I love this album so much, but like really don't care for anything past this album. Like there was a couple good tunes in there, but for the most part, it was like this is good.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like like the Cars' first album or like the Violent Femmes' first album, where it's like just so perfect. You're like it's not getting better with the second or third album.
no, this is definitely probably my favorite Weezer song. There's a few others that they did, but like I definitely feel like the mid 2000s, like the early 2000 or the early late 2000s. What do you call them? Late aughts.
Late aughts.
The late aughts, yeah, like 2007, 2009. Weezer released a song called Pork and Beans. I was like, nah, not for me.
Yeah.
I get it. It was one of those like early internet meme culture videos where like we're just trying to plug like every like internet culture, and I feel like those types of things just don't age that well.
Do you remember the band the Philosopher Kings?
I've heard of them, but tell me more.
They had a song and it had the uh-oh from ICQ.
Okay.
This was like in the beat of it.
That's right.
Speaking of meme songs. But if you don't remember ICQ, that was like the first chat thing that people had, like before MSN Messenger and
Yeah.
like
No, I think the first chat that I had was definitely MSN Messenger. My
Okay.
sister and I, she's listening right now, and she's driving on a road trip to Denver.
Ooh,
So
what's in Denver?
family. Well, family. Her boyfriend's family. Hi.
Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Extended family. I don't know how you call it. Anyway, but they're doing a road trip. So anyway, shout out to my sister again. But we used to fight for the computer, the family computer, growing up because we had dial-up internet.
Yeah.
And we just love to hop on MSN and chat with our friends.
I remember downloading games for like days, and someone would pick up the phone and ruin it.
You're like, Mom, I'm trying to download games.
It's 5 megs. It's going to be like 6 days.
Well, shout out to actually great. That's a great segue. So at CJUC, not only are we FM radio, but we're still living in the late 90s as far as internet goes, up until very recently, because right now we're actually borrowing a Starlink from Rob Hopkins, president of the Utilities Consumer Group. Utility Consumer Group is the organization that has the CJUC's CRTC license. So Rob is the radio guy. He's a radio expert, and he's had a Starlink dish at his cabin, and he so gracefully lent it to CJUC for the winter so we could kind of get it set up. And that allows us to do amazing things like broadcast to YouTube.
I like the YouTube live feature.
It also allows us to do things like download songs.
Could we get on Twitch? I keep hearing about Twitch.
I
don't know what it is, but
I think it's it's mostly a gaming website. We could do that.
Get reactors to watch our show, and
that's right. I think one of the challenges, though, and this is where you, the listener, comes in, is that now our internet is going to be closer to $200 a month. So we're a small nonprofit radio station with a very small budget. We're doing a fundraiser. If you'd like to donate at CJUC FM. You can send e-transfers to us. And
shirts and stickers for sale.
We got shirts. We got stickers. You can request a song. You can send an email. You can do all those things. So make sure to donate or just come stop by. Do you want to try to take another caller?
Yeah, I see the lines are lighting up there. So maybe let's figure out how to get over to those.
Okay. So if you're listening and you'd like to call in, our phone number to call in is 867-457-2582. Oh, and there's a call. I got to figure out the system. So I'm pulling up the phone. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, you're on the air with CJUC.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air with CJUC. I actually see another call coming in at the same time. The lines are just lighting right up. How are you doing?
Well, you guys are so popular.
Well, you know how it goes.
So popular.
Can I get your name?
Yeah, my name's Clarky McClooney.
Clarky McClooney.
My friends call me Clank, though.
Oh, hey, Clank. How's it going? How can we help you out today?
Did you spend time in the Clank?
Oh, you're my friend. That's nice. I got a little bit of. I heard you guys are solving problems today on the air with 100% guarantee.
Yep.
Yes.
That's us.
Which sounds ambitious to me, but it's not a big problem.
Okay.
So here, I'm going to set it up a little bit. So my girlfriend and I.
Yep.
My lovely girlfriend, we do like a little couples photo shoot, a little festive couples photo shoot every season for the Christmas season.
Okay.
Right.
I like it. Like where this is going.
You know, we like to mix it up and do a little theme.
Okay.
Like, you know,
Are these photos for you, or are you sending these photos out to friends?
And well, to cut right to the chase, this year I want to. Do you know what Warhammers are?
I am.
Warhammers are. They're like.
I am familiar with Warhammers.
Warhammer is?
Yeah, Warhammers. They're little plastic
like
figures
little plastic. They're like little dolls for men. Right?
Okay, for men. Yeah. I mean, you could argue that they're for children.
Well, they can be man children.
Man children. Well, let's meet in the middle. Yes.
My girlfriend does call me that once in a while, but that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Well, I want them to be the theme this year. I want to use my Warhammers, and she says that. She says, Clarky, you can't. That's not. People are going to make fun of us, Clarky. But I want to use. I just painted up. Sergeant Polonius, the Orc Slayer, and he. I think he'd make a great centerpiece for our Christmas couples photo shoot. But she doesn't agree, and I wonder, like, am I in the wrong here?
Okay, I'm going to pass the phone over to Steve here. 1 second. Steve, what advice do you have for Clank?
Well, what I'm thinking here is, like, you got to have a nativity scene in your photo, right? So what if you guys dressed up, you kind of compromise. You dress up really nice together, but in the background you have a really nice Warhammer nativity scene that you've painted up. You got one little baby Jesus in there and stuff, and then the people can still see that you're very skilled with your paints. Well,
that is important. People need to know.
Yeah.
They need to know how good I am at Warhammers.
They want to see what you've been doing all year.
Yeah. No, that's what I was telling her. I said, I put a lot of time and money. Like, we had to remortgage the house again.
Yeah.
To buy the new starter set, because you got to get the new starter set every year.
All right.
And I had to sell all my guitars. I used to be into rock and roll, but then I discovered the Warhammers.
Right.
And,
okay. I'm gonna come in
sell
here.
all my guitars and stuff.
I'm gonna come in here with some other advice, and it's gonna be complete.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Steve. I really appreciate your nativity.
So Steve's recommending the nativity scene in the background of the photo. I'm going to come in from the other side of the things. So what I'm thinking right now is you dump her. You just straight up you dump her. Your Warhammers are obviously your priority.
Yeah.
She's just not into that. Maybe she's just not that into you.
Is the mortgage under her name? Could you leave with just?
You know what? Right? You might be right. It's me. You can't. It's me and the Warhammers. You can't. Yeah, she's driving a wedge between me and my Warhammers.
Right. All right. So you got two different opinions.
But on the other hand, do you know how hard it is to get a girlfriend when you're into the Warhammers?
Oh, just getting a girlfriend.
It's one thing being a rock and roll guy, but
that is true. Just getting a girlfriend in general can be hard these days.
The choices have diminished.
Okay, so you heard two different opinions. You've heard one from Steve. He's recommending the nativity scene.
Yeah.
And you got the advice from me, which is just ditch her. What are you leaning towards? What do you think you're going to go with?
Well, I'm going to have to dump her, I guess.
Okay. Well, that sounds like another problem solved by Redbeard Radio. Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, Redbeard Radio.
Okay. You have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I have so much more time for Warhammers now.
That sounds fantastic.
Merry Christmas.
Do we have another caller already?
I think we have another caller already. The lines are just lighting up for phone. Again, if you'd like to call in, it's 867. What's the number? 867-457-2582. And we're going to take this call here. Pick up. How do I pick up? Hello, you're on the air with CJUC, Redbeard Radio.
This is John Q. football team here.
You got
I got a 1979 Ford Econoline van for sale.
A Ford Econoline van for sale. Okay.
It's got a lot of kilometers on tour. It rolled over. I don't know how many kilometers exactly, but I'm pretty sure I was conceived in it.
Nice, as many people are. Do you? Are you trying to do a Trader Time type thing? Like you'd like to sell your Econoline van?
Well, I just heard that feller on the radio there said he couldn't get himself a girlfriend, and there's no better way to get a woman than to have a nice rocking van.
That is excellent advice. I love that you're calling.
Van life is huge now.
Van life is huge now. That's correct. I've heard that. If you're looking for a girlfriend, get yourself a van.
Yeah. And girls,
stay off them damn Warhammers.
If those fans are rocking.
Here's a question for you. What does the van look like? Is it just describe it? Use your words here.
Well, she's missing a tire. She's covered in snow. The windows work. It's got one headlight.
Like you can see through them?
Can you see through the windows?
My dog sleeps in there.
Awesome. Here, I'm going to pass the phone over to Steve. 1 second here.
Yeah, I guess my first question would be is anybody looking for possible crime investigations? Is it a hot fan? Is it? Second question: are you open to interesting trades? Do you just want the money, or are you like?
Let me ask you something, sir.
Yes.
What color is your hair?
Clear.
What color is your hair, sir?
Oh, it's I'm a ginger. I'm a red.
So it's safe to say you got a red mustache.
I got a little bit of a red mustache. I do. A little soup strainer.
I got to say I'm jealous. I bet you can chew tobacco all day and not even see a stain.
It's pretty good for that. I won't lie. I do love chewing tobacco. I have a big spittoon here beside me.
That's right.
We had a sound effect board. I would do it.
Here,
nothing this van needs more. Nothing this van needs more than a straight shooting, spit chewing son of a gun like you.
That's right. Actually, I just got an idea here. Our first caller was actually looking for a place to live. This might actually be a two birds with one stone situation, or get two birds stoned at one situation.
Well, in this here van, there's what looks like there's a fridge into it.
Right.
Honest to God working fridge.
That sounds great.
All you need is one of those completely illegal extension cords that has two male ends.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I've seen those before. Yeah. Those are great. I heard. I even got a guy that'll make them for you.
They're banned in Texas.
Without
electrocuting yourself, you get a little spiky hair from that.
Right.
And also, we got there's a sink in there, but it just leads onto the road. I've been using it as a urinal, but I suppose you could use it as a sink.
So let's do this. I'm gonna. We're just having someone coming in downstairs here because there's an open house going on at CJUC. But I'm gonna set you up. So send your contact info. Send us an email at teamcjuc@gmail.com. We're gonna set you up with our first caller, and maybe you guys can coordinate, and maybe you could lease it to him, sell it to him, and you can find a cheap housing situation going on where he doesn't need any roommates. Thank you so much for calling in. We're going to play some music here where we take this a visitor downstairs, and we'll be back on the air shortly. Coming up next, actually, before you go, do you have any songs you'd like to request?
Thank y'all. I'd like to hear Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places.
Okay, I'll put that on the air for you. Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. And did you give us a name?
John Q. Football Team.
John Q. Football Team. Thank you for calling in, John Q. Football Team. All right, we're going to play Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. Here you go.
Thank y'all.
So, the phone's going off the hook again. There's a call from Anonymous, it says. So we're gonna play a song here and then take another call. Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. There we go. I found it. Let's play this version. Let's see how it goes.
Turn it up. That's my favorite song. I loved him for that. I spent a lifetime looking for you. Thank you. Single bars and good time lovers never true. Playing a fool's game, hoping to win, and telling those sweet lies and losing again. I was looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, searching their eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of.
I'm going to interrupt this song just quickly here and remind everyone that this is CJUC's 4th annual Solstice fundraiser. We're taking donations. So if you'd like to donate, you can do so by going to cjucfm.com and finding the PayPal link there, or you can send an e-transfer to donate@cjucfm.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be taking more listeners in a couple minutes here, or more callers in a couple minutes here. That number again is 867-457-2582 if anyone wants to call in and get some advice.
Don't know where it started or where it might end. I turned to a stranger just like a friend, 'cause I was looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, searching their eyes and looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of, hoping to find a friend and a lover. I'll bless the day I discover another heart looking for love. And you came knocking at my heart's door. You everything I've been looking for. There's no more looking for love in all the wrong places, in too many faces, searching their eyes and looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of. Now that I've found a friend and a lover, God bless the day I discovered you. Oh, you looking for love in all the wrong places, in too many faces, searching their eyes and looking for traces of what.
All right, it sounds like we got another caller calling into the station. I'm going to put them on the air here. Let's see how it goes. Hello, you're live on CJUC 92.5 FM.
Yeah, international caller from the Great Red South.
Hey, calling in from the Great Red South.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Great, how are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
That's awesome.
I was just hoping to get some advice from you guys about dating a Yukoner.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, you know, I've been dating this Yukoner for about a little over a year now, and she can't seem to kick her maple syrup habit.
Oh no!
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve, this one I think you're Steve is our local Ontarian. He knows the most about where maple syrup come from, how it's harvested, how to kick an addiction, even. So I'm gonna pass the phone over to him. Here he goes.
How you doing there?
Yeah, pretty good. Just trying to deal with this lady here. She's kind of going through some withdrawals without that good old Canadian maple syrup.
Okay, yeah, it's a hard one. It is, it's hard to get. It's expensive. It's an expensive habit to have. But have you tried to like ease her onto like some corn syrup or something like that? It's really cheap. You can get it anywhere.
Well, I did the Caro kern syrup for a little while, but that didn't seem to cut it. They stopped selling the Aunt Jemimas down here.
Oh, really? Does she like the dark maple syrup or the light? She
seems to be the dark. The dark is the one she usually goes for.
The super sweet. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I would work towards like maybe a molasses or something like that mixed with some ginger vanilla extract. You could sweeten it up a bit. And what other, like, is it just maple syrup or any kind of sugar?
Yeah, it seems to just be maple syrup. She's
okay.
We can hold her over on Red Bulls, but
yeah. What if you tried to make a really traumatic event where you scared her and traumatized her with maple syrup, so like the sight of it like made her a little nauseous and maybe fearful?
Like maybe wake her up with a bucket full of it on her head or something?
And like be like, your dog died and here's some maple syrup in your face. Like,
yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Maybe I'll stage the dog death with some strawberry jelly or something.
Yeah, well, I would use maple syrup because you don't mind if she eats jelly, right? Or are we trying to kick all breakfast sweets?
I was thinking maybe I just cover her dog in jelly.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but you got to get the syrup in there to like tie it to it. So like, make her a really nice breakfast and then tell her the dog's dead, covered in jelly.
Or maybe, it's actually not a bad idea. I know dog diabetes is a big problem these days, too.
It is.
So maybe I'll say that I bought her a gallon of maple syrup, but then her dog got into it.
And drowned.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, that's the stuff every time she goes for it. She's like, oh, you're getting the dog killer juice. Like, just really tie it together.
It's called Sterling syrup, I think is what it's called.
Sterling syrup, yeah. Just start calling it murder syrup and stuff like that,
Yes.
That would be my advice. But
yeah, okay. Any advice from Brett?
Yeah,
let's see what Brett has to say.
Let's
we'll
pass
give you some options.
Yeah, I'm going to pass the phone back over here. All right. I think honestly Steve nailed it. I'm not sure what advice that I could give you that he hasn't already covered. So you guys are from the States, right? here's another aspect we can call it. So in like the early 2000s, when Canada didn't want to help support, like war in Iraq and all that type of stuff, there was a big rebranding campaign that the Americans did where they said, these aren't French fries anymore. These are freedom fries.
Yeah.
This isn't French toast. This is freedom toast.
Freedom toast.
What if we rebrand maple syrup as like commie juice?
Commie juice. Yeah.
Yeah. And say, no, this is America.
Yeah.
We're not some commies.
Yeah.
We're in America. We eat high fructose corn syrup.
Corn syrup.
Yeah, that's the American way.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. I'm a little afraid that would send her flying back to the Great White North, but I might chase her up there.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Do you have any songs you'd like to request that we can play you out with?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, anything but Murder by Death.
Anything by Murder by Death. All right, we're going to play some Murder by Death for you. Thank you so much for calling in, and I hope you guys have a safe drive. Merry Christmas, Happy Solstice, all that type of stuff. All right, thanks for calling in. Bye for now.
I think we got a second request, too, after this of some Prozac, the alter ego of Kings of the Philosopher Kings, who are the actual ones who sampled the ICQ song.
Right. All right. So Murder by Death. I know absolutely nothing about Murder by Death. The top song here is Go to the Light. So we're going to play this one. Go to the Light by Murder by Death on CJUC 92.5 FM.
A lonesome star in a bitter sky. I hear the hungry ghosts calling out in the night. Just a couple victims of this brutal prize. Am I strong enough to let things just die? I find just to keep the spark alive. But if there's nothing on the other side, why can't I leave well enough alone and go to the light? Go to the light. Go to the light. A shadowy hand turns the page. A dark theater move across the stage. Teeth like a comb scrape against the sky. Feeling alone in a room full of life. Stealing a few extra moments and fighting against time. Pushed on and pushed aside. I've changed my song to match each story. I've changed sides. Can I watch them as they fall when they finally try to stand? Redeem myself for everyone I've buried with these hands. I find just to keep the spark alive. But if there's nothing on the other side, why can't I leave well enough alone and go to the light? Just let it die. Just let it die. Just let it die. Just let
All right, that was "Go to the Light" by Murder by Death. We're gonna wrap up our call-in section, and we're gonna go move to a new section for the show. Steve, what is this section called?
So I was looking through Whitehorse Anonymous for some questions, and some people, believe it or not, have some problems on Whitehorse Anonymous.
Okay, let's hear it. Maybe we can solve some anonymous Whitehorse problems.
So the first one I saw was, is A Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
Oh, good question. I think it's like...
And my subsequent ad is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
That's just fact.
Yeah.
Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. There's no debating that one.
There's no debating that one.
Anytime when anyone asks me about Die Hard, it's like, no, that's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of Halloween-y.
Well, okay, let's ask this question. Would you watch Nightmare Before Christmas on Christmas Eve?
That's a tough one because I probably wouldn't watch it at all.
Right. Well, would you watch Die Hard?
Which one am I more likely to watch it at Christmas or Halloween? I would say probably Halloween.
Yeah, it's definitely a Halloween movie. All right. Yeah, that was an easy one. All right. So I think we're in agreement there.
Yeah, I think I don't know. But by Die Hard logic,
right,
the only thing that makes it a Christmas movie is it takes place at Halloween.
You mean no? Die Hard takes place at Christmas.
Sorry, at Christmas.
Yeah.
So if this takes place at Christmas, technically if you're going to use the same, philosophical logic, then it has to be.
All right, you're beating me down with your logic here, Steve. All right. What else does Whitehorse have to say?
Whitehorse, it's hard to get through all the racist stuff to find good comments.
Okay, well, let's read a really juicy race. No, let's skip the racist ones, obviously.
Someone thinks it's utterly stupid that the justice system allows you to the way it works in the West is once you make a mistake and get, a legal problem,
right,
employers can look that up. But apparently in Korea, it's not a thing you can do.
So if, let's say you run someone over with your car in Korea, that doesn't come back to haunt you when you go to apply to be a job as a bus driver.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, so you go to be a bus driver and they say, oh, what's your references in your resume? And you say, I'm a great driver.
You're not allowed to ask.
You're not allowed to ask.
I mean, I get it. I would say a lot of it shouldn't be able to ask, but if you're a bad physically assaulting people or
running people over with the cars,
well, even that I'd probably let go. But if you're harming people or something you should be able to get disqualified.
Right. Oh, look, we just had a guest pop into the station. Look who it is. It's Laura Lewis. Laura, have you been listening to the show? A little bit. Awesome. Steve, I'm going to get you to hop into this chair. Okay. Laura Lewis, you can pop into... We've got a few guest mics here. We got guest mic 1, guest mic 2. So as everybody, let's welcome Laura Lewis to the station. Laura, we are just doing a segment that's called Whitehorse Anonymous, where we look and read some things from Whitehorse Anonymous. Before we get started here, do you have anything that you need, any advice or questions that you need help with?
Any problem solved?
Just kind of some dour, not maybe radio friendly. I'm actually trying to figure out how to get medical travel insurance while you have cancer. So if anyone knows anything,
reach out.
Have you tried lying?
I know, but then
that's my go-to.
I know, but then they might not cover me. Anyway, that's the least of my things.
Laura, I'm going to ask you just to get right up close on the mic.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
I know this
because these mics are brand new fancy radio mics, and if you're talking right here, you're not going to be able to hear it. You're talking
yeah. I know kind of how mics work. I just rolled out of bed. So
awesome.
The world is a blur.
I know how mics work. I don't know how Brian's work.
How about John's? Do you know how John's work? Steve, let's do one more Whitehorse Anonymous. I'm gonna while we do this, I'm gonna get some stuff set up for Laura because Laura and I have a special show planned out. with some.
Not planned.
Well.
Oh, you're planned. Okay.
I got some ideas.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's pull up some multi-tracks on here. Gotta get everything open. Oh, look at this! It's so glorious.
I know.
Laura, how have you been?
I'm really good. I am sleeping a lot and doing whatever the hell I want, and I don't work, so whatever.
That's amazing.
Come by, come visit me. If you know me, not if you don't know me.
No strangers.
Yeah. One of my favorite, I think one of the last times that we actually had a good conversation, Laura, you had just been at Eric DeLong's house. You were like cruising around downtown. You're like, yeah, I went over to Eric's place and he was just like sitting in the long chair and he was just hanging out in the sun. And he's like a man of leisure.
I know. And that's my life now.
I know. So now in my head, when I think Laura Lewis, lady of leisure.
Thank you. I love that term. It's very innocuous, you know?
Yeah, it's great. So how have you been since then?
I've been on a whirlwind of purging. I have a big storage unit that's got a bunch of stuff. So if you want to buy some musical equipment.
I thought you meant like the movie Purge.
Oh, yeah.
Been on a purge for a bit.
That.
Yeah. I really hope people don't look at my criminal record.
Yeah. Or look in the basement. Don't look in the basement.
No, that's awesome. I saw you're selling a banjo.
I'm selling a banjo. I sold an accordion to this guy who his dad has the same brain cancer that I do. It's so crazy, and it's changed him. Like, I'm really super lucky. I had the best surgeon in Western Canada removed my tumor, and all my nurses and everybody were amazing, and I don't have any effects. Like, I'm like, no, this isn't happening. This isn't a thing. It's only when you have like the pain and that sort of thing that you really notice. Otherwise, I'm just normal.
Great. That's amazing to hear. And medication's all sorted out too? Because last time I saw you...
It's been delayed. They don't really know. It's because you're dealing with Vancouver and Whitehorse. So I started chemo. It's called adjuvant chemo. So it's 5 days every 23 days, which makes up 28 days.
It's on the lunar calendar?
Well, I am a woman. This is awesome.
I'm glad you're having fun. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, me too. It's good to be seen.
I should introduce myself, by
I know
the way.
you.
Yeah, I thought
Steve, you play banjo. You, Meg and those guys.
Yeah.
You're a ginger.
Shout out to Meg if you're listening. I think Maxine's hanging out with Meg right now. I don't know if they have the radio station on. They might be like too embarrassed to be actually listening right now, which is fair.
Totally.
Would you like a beverage?
No, I've got some water.
Okay.
I know. I am drinking.
Okay.
Shh, don't tell my mom. No. But yeah, water's good.
Okay, cool. Steve, Whitehorse Anonymous, you got one queued up? Or should we move on to the next segment here?
We can move on to this next one, I think.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so...
Mostly people complaining on If you're on Whitehorse Anonymous, ask questions so we can answer them, not just making weird statements.
Yeah, there's a lot of complaining about cyclists on there.
Yes.
There's a lot of complaining about driving on there. There's a lot of complaining about basically everything.
Yeah.
If you only listen to Whitehorse Anonymous, you'd think that everybody in this town was a giant raging a-hole, which some people are.
Yeah.
But I like to think most people aren't, and that's why we live here, right? Yeah. So for this next segment, Steve, I'm not sure. Have you ever listened to the show Song Exploder? Song Exploder.
You showed me it before. I forget what song I listened to that was really good, but only just the one episode you showed me.
So the idea behind Song Exploder is you take a song and then you break it apart bit by bit, listen to it, ask questions about what inspired the song, what inspired the arrangements, the different parts, the vocals, the keyboards, the drums, all that type of stuff. And in preparing for this radio show, Laura Lewis, you released your album in 2017. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. The album's titled Love Lavatic.
Love Lavatic. I was kind of going with, you know how the Police had like Zenyatta Montana, and like, what's the other one? Anyway, Outlandos de Mort. I guess that's French. But like, so it's called Love, L-O-V, Lavatic, pertaining to lava, because I'm a geologist and I'm a huge geek. So.
Well, you're in good company here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, that's actually how I know Laura. We worked together at the Yukon Geological Survey, and one of my favorite things about you is whenever I had I need to kill about half an hour before the end of the day, I just pop by your office and we just BS about music or science or whatever.
Because people kind of just squirrel away in their offices and cubicles, but yeah, you can't. It's a social environment. You need to socialize a bit.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about your album. How long did you work on it for?
So I'd been writing songs for a couple of years. It's really hard. I got funding from government, from economic development, for a full-length album, which is hard to get because you got to put a marketing plan, and you got to have a bio and distribution, and how are you going to stand out, and what platforms are you on, and streaming, and all this garbage. Sorry. And so I applied in 2015 and I didn't get accepted, so I applied 2016. So I had a bunch of songs, but they're mostly half-written songs.
Right.
And Jordy
I'm so
helped
good
me.
at half-written songs.
I know. It's I got a verse.
Yeah.
And a riff.
Yeah. I've got 3 chords and a little thing I hum in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a bunch of them I ended up I recorded demos at home of just me and my terrible drum machine Beat Thang. Don't buy it. Don't get it.
What is the brand, just so we can stay away from it?
It's called Beat Thang.
It's called Beat Thang.
Yeah, it's for hip hop artists.
I was
Awesome.
going to say, if hip hop's taught me anything, you want an 808 drum machine.
That's also what Kanye West taught me. He has an album called 808s and Heartbreak.
Really?
It's an awful album. Awful album.
The Beastie Boys always talk about the 808.
That's true. It's a classic. So.
Well, I bought this because it was really flashy. It has this blue light that you can turn on, and it underscores and lights up all the keys.
Nice.
So bling. But now it's discontinued. So yeah.
So Drum Thang?
Beat Thang.
Beat Thang. So there's no album from Kanye West called Beat Thang and Heartache.
Not yet.
So the song that we wanted to dive deep in today is called It's Real.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what inspired the song.
It's really funny. it's not really funny, but I was looking through all my old files and I'm like, oh yeah, normally I have my cheat note, my scratchy, I've got this idea on a napkin, and then I'll have some shitty recording. Can I say that word? Okay.
It's fine.
Good. It's a good word, shitty.
It's a great word.
Yeah. Shitty recordings, and I didn't have anything, and I don't even know where it came from. It came from the ether, but it's about love, and it's about passion, and it's about young love, when you're just your heart's racing and you're just so full of passion, and lust turns into love. You don't even know what the difference is.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I'm going to play a little bit of the demo here just to see where we started out. So you mentioned that you had your Beat Thang.
I got my Beat Thang.
You got your Beat Thang.
Yeah.
You sent me a file called It's Real 2016.mp3.
Yeah.
So you recorded this one just on your laptop, or how did it work?
Yeah, on my laptop through whatever they called, analog digital converter.
Your DAC, DAC.
My DAC.
Yeah.
I guess so. With a beat that's actually quite different from what Graham puts down, but it was just to get the structure of the song and give Jordy an idea of what it was going to sound like.
Awesome. Okay, let's take a listen here. Oh yeah, you can hear the beat thing.
It's terrible.
And a little bit of jammy piano.
Too long an intro. You don't need to hear all this stuff.
I like a long song. Let it linger for a bit.
Oops. 1 second here. Let's pull that back up.
Interesting.
I'm in for it.
I have no patience.
Oh, really?
I'm like, come on. It's been half a minute. Let's get to the good bits.
I'm the complete opposite. If a song ends in 4 minutes, I'm like, where's the rest of it?
We could never collaborate.
What you need to know about Steve too is he's a deadhead, and so he will listen to a 14-minute long
jam band.
Yeah. All right.
Kills me.
So with the demo, you can hear that the drum machine in the background,
and my keys, which when you listen to the song, you don't even really hear keys, and that's part's not in there. Just getting into the mood.
One of the things I like about this demo so far is it might not be like the best technical quality, but it definitely captures the vibe and the mood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a slow, it's like ethereal, atmospheric song.
It's got like a Lord kind of like original album kind of beat to it. They're like really simple beats. And just, you know.
Yeah.
My friend thought it reminded her of the wrist slitting Mazzy Star.
I do not know the reference.
She's like this singer from the 90s who like her songs are so dour and downers, but she had a beautiful voice, and it was just, I don't know, something you just would indulge in when you're hungover on a Sunday and, you know, in your PJs or
I love
whatever.
it. Right now you can hear this kind of getting into the chorus of the song. There's a bit of a key change.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that riff kind of goes through the recording.
The little arpeggiated piano in there.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't know, I was thinking like Middle Eastern, Cleopatra. I don't even know what Egyptian music sounds like. But
I think they say those words a lot, though.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Okay. So that gives you a little bit of a taste of the demo here. So Laura was nice enough that you actually kept your multi-tracks from everything.
yeah.
So where
Jordy was nice enough.
so you recorded this. Oh, I got a text here from Rox Hunter.
Oh.
Rox is listening in. He says, "Say hi to Steve and to Laura."
Hi, Rox.
And Rox says, "You guys sound great. Listening to you right now." So hey, Rox.
Hey, Rox.
You also have a great show. Rox is Rick and Rox
Sword.
Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Like every Tuesday.
Started out of COVID. Like their COVID jams on the roof of their place.
That's
and
right.
everything. Yeah.
big time supporters of CJUC. So great guys. So Laura shared these multi-tracks with me. Jordy Walker, he engineered and produced it. So did you take that demo to Jordy then?
Yeah, I took it to Jordy. So the thing was, I took 10 months off my government job, deferred leave. I'm like, awesome. I'm going to like finish these songs and we're going to record. This was 2016. And then by like August, I think we finally got to the studio to put bed tracks down. So my time was almost done. But yeah, so we ended up going to Jim Holland's studio, Green Needle Records. Because have you been to his studio?
Oh yeah, a few times. It's a cavernous.
Yeah, it's the biggest. Yeah, it might be the biggest studio. In town.
It definitely in terms of square footage, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So he has a separate drum room, where we isolated Graham Peters, who did the drumming on this track. I know he's phenomenal.
So
he's phenomenal at everything.
Such a nice guy too.
Shout out to Graham Peters. I think he's got a show tonight, or it's the Selena Savage trio quartet.
I can't.
Yeah, shout out to them. They've got a show at Lefty's Vault tonight.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't go to shows anymore. I got a kid. I fall asleep on the couch at 8:30 reading bedtime stories now. Yeah. It's great. That's one of the biggest life changes since we used to hang out. Laura is now I used to be a fellow night owl, and now I go to bed at 8:30.
Oh yeah. I also, but usually I go 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. and then I'm up till
I'm a
4
big fan
or
of this
5
way of doing it.
Well, maybe we should
late
should
naps
hang out.
and like
Okay, let's hang out. Let's
Steve
do
also
this.
works shift work too, so I'm sure that has a lot to do with beating up your circadian
I lived
rhythm.
with the guy that used to tell me I stole the unused energy of the night because I was just like lingering around all night, hanging out. Loved nightlife.
Being a nighthawk, man, at the diner.
So I'm gonna play some of these drums here.
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits.
I'm gonna play some of these drums here. So the drums was
Graham Peters. Yeah, and then the bass was Micah Smith. The bass on this album, there's 12 songs on this album. The bass on this song is Micah Smith, and Jordy does the guitar, and I do vocals and piano. So the bed tracks were laid down at Jim Holland's, and then afterwards we went into Jordy's smaller studio and did overdubs.
Amazing. Okay, so let's listen back to some of these multi-tracks. And I'm gonna music nerd out here. I'm gonna swing the screen around too, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at a little bit.
Oh, I like that.
One of the things I noticed right away looking at this is there are four kick tracks.
Yeah.
So if you look at just the kick here, you can solo just the kick.
Oh, yeah.
There's a 57, there's a D6, there's a fat, and there's a sub. So is this a Jim Holland thing?
This is a Jim Holland thing. This is what I was getting to. But his drum room, there are 16 microphones.
16 microphones.
16 on the drum kit. Yeah.
So just
you have
the
your
sub.
choice of, I just want the room mic down a little bit over there.
Yeah. You can compare the D6, the Audix D6, and then the Kick SM57. There you go. Cool. And then the rest of the drums here are going to bring in the snares and everything. And so with the overheads, let's actually get some of these panned. The snare right up the center. That's a low tom, another snare, MG. Oh yeah, look at all these. Snare, fat, tom 1, tom 2, hat, under hat. Just tons of options.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you which ones he actually used in the final mix or, at what levels. But
one of the things I love about this, from like playing around with like music production in the past and like diving into other people's audio engineering recordings, is it just gives you options. There's so many options. Sometimes it's too many options.
Yeah.
But like,
exactly.
But if you think of like mixing a song as like painting a picture, it's just more colors to paint with.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It was kind of amazing.
Cool. So
and sorry, one other thing about Graham.
Yeah.
Like every time we did a take, he's like, "I can do it better. I can do it better than we do," and he did it better.
That's awesome. I see at the beginning there's also an intro filter. So tell me about this. I'm going to play it first, and then let's talk about it. So that's the drum beat. What's going on there?
It's something that Jordy included, and I'm not sure, honestly. So for this album, I've done demos in the past, but this is my first time working with a producer. So I'm like, I know you have a wealth of experience and knowledge, and I'm just going to let you do whatever it is you want to do.
Right
and,
on.
Just get Jordy's vision. My next album, I'll probably, be more involved in the production side, but I just wanted to capture Jordy's mind.
That's awesome. When it comes to music production and recording, and I went to a concert. I saw Whitehorse play at the Art Center when they were in town a while ago, and they were talking about like recording one of their albums and the process of choosing a producer and how much of an influential decision that is, because some people go into the recording studio with a vision, an idea of what they want things to sound like. And some people go into the recording studio and say, you're the producer, you're the director of the movie that my album is.
Yeah.
I love all these other movies you've directed. I'm going to hire you to do your thing with my music. I'm going to show you, this is the basic like structure of like verse, chorus. Here's the melody, but make it awesome.
Yeah.
So with that situation, do you feel like when you record your album, do you go in and you say, Jordy, just make it awesome?
Well, so just one thing first is the difference between like a singer-songwriter, which I kind of consider myself to be, and versus a band. So band, usually they've been jamming and they're like, we're just going to do live off the floor when we'll get separation from the different amps and different instruments. Whereas for me, I hadn't played these with a band very much, and so it all had to be arranged. So like the bass parts had to be, done for the most part, and the drumming had to be changed from the drum machine,
right?
The terrible drum machine to, real drums. So yeah, I was like, Jordy, whatever, Although we had a couple arguments, but that's going to happen.
Awesome. Okay, so we took a little bit of a look at the drums here. Let's take a look at the bass. So we said Micah was the bassist.
No longer here, I don't think. He moved a couple of years ago.
Cool. Let's take a listen here.
It's pretty simple. The entire track or recording is very simple.
You know what I love about this is what I hear in the bass is it's clean, it's clear, it sounds like it's DI'd, and it's got like a little bit of that high end.
Is it a stand-up?
No.
Like
no,
it
this,
doesn't?
No, it's
it sounds like an electric bass.
Electric, yeah.
It's got a lot of reverb.
And you can hear the finger.
Yeah.
Which I like.
You hear a little bit of that string noise in there. I'm going to skip ahead to the chorus here. Oh, yeah. And if you're not familiar with multi-tracks, when you're recording an album, you're going to record just the bass, just the drums, just the guitar, just all these things. And you can record them all together at the same time. But then what the multi-tracks allow you to do is turn up one thing, turn down one thing, and get it to mix right and fit right inside the overall mix. And it's always really fun to open up somebody else's work, especially if you're an aspiring musician or producer, because when I started out doing music production, things that I thought were engineered and recorded well were not recorded well. And then you hear other people like, man, that bass sounds so good.
Yeah.
And just those little decisions along the way of just how to make it sound good on the way in go a long way.
Yeah. So for our tracking, we did bed tracks, which is, usually the rhythm section, like the drums and the bass. But we were also I was playing keys and I was singing, and Jordy was playing guitar, but a lot of his guitar parts he threw out and he just kept the bass and drums. Although for this one, he did keep a lot of the guitar, I think.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into the guitars here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guitar parts.
Wow.
So
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I emailed him a couple of days ago. I'm like, quick, what happened at 5 minutes in this song? What is that instrument? Because I just didn't know.
That's so funny. Should we jump to 5 minutes and find out what that instrument is?
Let me find out the exact.
Okay. Well, while you do that, let's listen back to some of these guitars. I'm going to start towards the beginning here. Right now, you're going to hear all 5 guitars. There's no compression. There's no EQ. There's not much panning. I might try to play around with the panning and make it sound a little bit better. But let's take a listen. There we go. There you go. You can hear it's a little bit chorusy. I'm going to pan these to either side to get just a little bit of a... Oh, that's super spacey.
Yeah.
You can hear this reverb, it's very vibey.
Yeah.
And this one says electric guitar 57, so that'd be recorded with an SM57.
Yeah.
Oh, and that kind of comes into that
the
rhythmic motive of the song, that bum ba bum ba bum bum, which came from you playing keys, right?
Well, I think it came from Jordy, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because at one point, so I gave him that demo, and then he's like, simplify the drums. Because I can't even remember how it went. But I feel like, or it might have just happened organically. I don't know. That was 6 years ago, man.
Isn't that crazy? I feel like this was just yesterday. That's COVID times measured differently, right? All right, I'm going to skip ahead into the chorus here because it sounds like there's the 5 guitars coming in the chorus. So this pre-chorus right here.
Just get some weird effects.
Oh yeah, you can hear some of those weird effects going on now.
I think that's the, I don't know. Sherman filter bank.
The Sherman filter bank? So
apparently. It might not be there. It's definitely at 450 in the song. So.
But listen to that. He's one of the things I love about Jordy Walker is he's great at these soundscapes.
Yeah.
He does lots of these sound engineering and texturing.
Yeah.
And some of his creative genius comes into these building these textures. And what that means is it sounds like this weird alien guitar. When you isolate it, but then when you add it into everything, it's oh.
Yeah.
So let's
totally. I mean, it makes the song really.
Yeah.
And the way he manipulates my voice to make it sound good, that's really good.
Is that auto-tune?
No, he just puts so many reverb and I don't know, filters. I don't know, magic. Boom.
Magic, audio magic. He turns those knobs very quickly. Cool. So that gives you an idea of some of the vibey guitars. Let's go into the Rhodes. Did you play this Rhodes? Is this an actual Rhodes?
Yeah. He insists.
He insists.
He's a purist in that respect.
I respect that.
I don't know. I feel like if you're listening to his song, you're not going to be able to tell that my electric keyboard isn't a real Rhodes if it's within the song.
But there's nerds like me that are going to wiki that and be like, what did they play? Who was playing bass on this one particular track?
I know, but is it, if you're listening to it and you don't automatically go, oh yeah, that's not a Rhodes, then what's the big deal?
You know what's
funny?
I recorded an album back in 2013. And for
what was it? Tell us.
The only notable thing about this album was I recorded with MIDI drums.
Oh yeah.
And I used samples, but I got a really good sample library, and we sent it to be mixed by Brad Smith, a mixer, audio engineer, record producer in Edmonton, and he's like, "Are these drums? Are these real drums?" I was like, "You're the professional. You should know."
You can't tell him.
If you can't tell, like he's a Juno award-winning.
Oh, they're real and they're spectacular.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, the cymbal, the hi-hat's being played wrong, and it's at a tempo." I'm like, so maybe he knew, maybe he didn't know, but I like to think that my drum programming was so good, and the samples I chose were so good that I fooled this Juno award-winning engineer. Likely not, but.
I remember bringing Jordy a song later. I got another grant, but this time from, Tourism and Culture, the advanced artist.
Right.
And it was to go over a bunch of songs that I written and recorded and tried to put all the parts in so that there was, me playing really bad guitar and, bad drums. But he's like, who's playing the bass on this?
Or like, is it, why?
Why? That's me on my keyboard. You didn't even know it was a bass. What?
That's amazing. That like as a non-keyboard player, I mean, I've played I've played keyboards in bands before
and guitar
in bands before. But as a non-keyboard player, it always blows my mind that the like left brain, right brain split that like keyboard players could do, where they just play a bass with one hand and then like lead with the other hand. I'm like, what do you even need a bass player for?
Well, to be honest, I think he knew it wasn't a bass,
right.
but he was just like perplexed.
Right.
So that's where that came from.
Awesome. Okay, so let's dive into this Rhodes here. I'm going to solo this track and let's take a listen. Oh, that's real. You can tell it's real.
Yeah.
You want... There you go.
That's beer.
You
Mom, I would never drink a beer this early.
It's 6 p.m. in Ontario right now, so I think you're off the hook. Actually, it is 4:19 p.m.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas. It's almost 4:20. So.
For the baby.
But you know how you can tell this is like a real Rhodes? Is there's that little crackle in there?
Oh yeah, totally.
Like right at the beginning. I'm gonna play this back
it's
here.
The mistakey parts.
Yeah, it's very wabi-sabi. Listen to this. You hear that crackle?
Yeah.
That's wabi-sabi. It's the little imperfections that make something good. Do you ever watch King of the Hill?
I was just going to say, did you learn about this from King of the Hill?
No, I learned about it from the Joe Rogan podcast. But
I learned about it from King of the Hill when he was doing the roses, trimming roses.
Oh, yeah.
Wabi-sabi, the beauty and imperfection.
Yeah. As someone who's like really shitty at things, I like just calling things wabi-sabi as an excuse for like just be kind of crappy.
Yeah.
It's just entropy, man.
It's entropy. Yeah, it's wabi-sabi. No, I learned about wabi-sabi from there's an episode of the podcast where the Joe Rogan podcast with the singer from Van Halen. What's his name?
Sammy Hagar?
No, not Sammy Hagar. Oh no.
Oh, David Lee Roth?
David Lee Roth.
Yeah, right.
It's insanity. This guy's insane. Like he's full on. I guess he used to have his own radio show on some channel, and like so this entire 3-hour episode just like David Lee Roth waxing poetic about songwriting and musicianship and playing in like Van Halen in the 80s. Like what an insane life that would be.
Just a gigolo.
One of my favorite stories from him though, or my favorite quotes from that episode was he's talking about songwriting and Joe Rogan asked, well, how long does it take you to write a song? And he's like, well, if you consider like all the poetry I've ever read, all the books I've ever read, all the music I've ever listened to, all the movies I've ever watched, it takes me about 5 minutes to write a song. He's like,
it shows.
Yeah, and it shows, you know.
No, just kidding.
Hey, Hot for Teacher was...
Yeah, that's a classic. Okay, so going into the verse here, these are nice vibey piano. I'm going to play back this part here. Do you remember recording this?
I don't.
You're looking at the screen like you don't remember doing this.
I don't, because I was wondering, what is that like oscillating sound? Is that his like tremolo or something? But
I wonder if this is another Geordie texture that he's added. Okay, and
I feel like he would have told me that because he told me he added like a whole bunch of background vocals. He added them to like 8 of the 12 songs. Him and Scott Maynard is actually on one of the tracks, or a couple. So if he had done this himself, he would have told me.
Gotcha.
So it was me, clearly, but
it's really funny. I've also been accused of like recording a band before, where the bass player comes back they're like, "Did you replace my bass?" I'm like, "I swear to God, I did not replace your bass. I might have time aligned it. I might have like synced it to the actual kick drum." So, but like, I tighten things up.
Yeah. And that's a huge thing. If you've never been in the studio and like multi-tracked, especially if you're just maybe you playing along with a click track, it's really hard.
Yeah, it's ducking hard.
It's ducking hard, I tell ya.
That's right. There's another synth on here. So there's as far as keys go on this track, there's the Rhodes and then there's a synth. So let's take a listen back to the synth here. Big fade in. It's a little bit like has a bit of a radio filter to it, like where the highs and lows are cut out.
My notes are poor on this song.
So. Oh yeah. Hey, that's the callback to your demo.
Like that.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah. I was wondering what was playing that. It's really low in the background on the final mix, so I thought it was the guitar playing it.
Yeah, it sounds like the track is labeled ARP, as in arpeggiated synth. So I think that's what's going on there.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's listen back just to this part. We're gonna listen back a few of the textures here. So we have the Rhodes, we have the guitars, we have the drums, the kick, and the bass, and the synth. So this is almost like going to be like a karaoke version. Let's see what it sounds like.
Let's all sing.
We are going to turn up that little arpeggio part.
Yeah. Like
It's almost got like a sax feel to it.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to get in the mic here.
It's your face, you, Steve. It's like the mic's faced away.
Yeah. You can turn the mics to you. Can
I know,
grab
but
it, move it around.
I'm afraid.
You're not going to break it. I mean, you might break it, but that's okay. And if you do break it, that's what our donations are for. That's a good callback. I'm like doing such a deep dive into music right now. I'm like. So if you can't tell, I love geeking out about music and recording and demos and stuff like that.
Totally.
But a big callback to the reason that I'm on the air right now. It is the Solstice 4th annual fundraiser for CJUC.
Yeah.
If you like what you hear right now, the goal of CJUC is to create awesome local original programming, to support Yukon musicians, to train, develop, and advocate for Yukon musicians and sound arts and recording and mixing. And Bill Polonsky, he's a fantastic guy. He's been doing CJUC for over 20 years now.
20 years.
It's an unpaid position. He does not take a salary for it. And I'm sure he works over 40 hours a week doing this type of stuff, especially this time of year. I was helping out. The CRTC was knocking, not because of Laura just saying the F-bomb on radio.
Almost. She cut it off.
She cut it off. To be fair, she cut it off.
Where am I? Can I say this?
For all things, actually, CRTC, CanCon content. They were doing a CanCon audit, so we had to go and like do this big CanCon check. And we were under the impression that we played enough CanCon, and we do, I think, for the most part. We got to like up those numbers. But speaking of CanCon, I think the first time I heard this song, I mean, you gave me a copy of this album. I listened to it front to back when it came out. But before lunch hour, now that I have a toddler, my life is so regimented and so scheduled that like every day is the same. It's like, all right, drive to work, drop the kid off, daycare, blah blah blah. Go to the gym at lunch, and when I would be driving at lunch, my dial on the radio is always set to 92.5. And for a while, Bill had a Yukon Spotlight playlist, and at like 11:54, Laura Lewis would play every day. And it would take
awesome.
one song. It would take one song ran at choice from your album and just play it. So every day I would always be listening to Laura Lewis on the drive to the gym or whatever. And it was great. And this song, It's Real, would come up. And I'm like, yeah, this is a great song. So when you reach out to me and say, hey, how do we get involved with this fundraiser? I was like, we got to use this song. We got to use this album. We got to dive into it because it's great. And
I'm really happy that you did. I got these tracks from Geordie Walker about a year ago, and not really knowing what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to try my hand at remixing to, see what that was like. But here's another use for them.
Yeah, just dive right in. So if you're listening, you like what you hear, you like CJUC, we're taking donations. You can e-transfer donation, donate at cjucfm.com. We have t-shirts and bumper stickers and stickers for sale too. You can drop in. Yeah. Back to your regular programming. I know I'm such a hack. Okay, I'm gonna pause this here. Here's a question for you. Should we dive into the vocals?
I think
the reason I ask is because
Okay.
every time I've ever recorded a musician, one of the most painful things, it's almost like taking a microscope to your face and being like, let's look at this thing that you did. Like bass, no problem. Drums, no problem. Vocals, you're like, oh God, no.
Well, the vocals are the final vocals on here, but
Yeah.
it was a journey because I did a few overdubs and Jordy's like, you're flat, you're flat, you're flat. I'm like, what? Well,
It's intentional.
It's
art.
exactly.
It's wabi-sabi.
And so he ended up playing the melody, the sink it, whatever the words are. How come I can't remember them? I don't know. And just playing it as a melody on the keyboard. And then I heard it in my cans, headphones, whatever they're called. And then I sang over that. And I was like, oh my God, I was really singing flat. So, which you don't know because you're just so comfortable with your voice. Well,
I always think it's sharp, but I'm more positive of a person,
Yeah, your vocals
one
are
man's
really
sharp is one man's flat.
I think you're supposed to, this is what I learned from The Voice, from Reba McEntire. You're supposed to squeeze your butt cheeks to get to those higher notes.
Is that
Really?
what Michael Jackson did?
To
get that really high falsetto?
He did
So
a lot
many
of
jokes.
things.
Ooh.
Colorful. I like that.
All right, maybe Michael Jackson's not the best person. Oh, actually, speaking of, Steve and I were joking about doing a segment on Redbeard Radio about good art, bad people.
Oh yeah.
About how there's so many problematic artists. And earlier on today, I was someone requested a
Ryan
song.
Adams is a good example.
Oh, he's a great example. You know who is a great example that I never thought about before? But somebody Fiona messaged earlier, and she requested.
Fiona's nice.
Well, she requested a song by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh, he had some weird stuff about beating up people.
Yeah, I pulled up his Wikipedia. I'm like, man, that is whoo. He has a questionable past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I like, who was canceled for a while and his movie didn't come out? Louis C.K.
Yeah?
I think he's freaking hilarious.
I
forgive him.
I have very strong opinions about Louis C.K. that are not fit for radio. He's one of those guys. Good art.
Yeah.
Bad person.
Very
For sure.
bad
Oh yeah.
person.
He's
Great bits. He does really well structured jokes with
Yeah.
a poignant point most of the time, but
Yeah.
the
But I mean,
whole
he asked
blocking
them if
women
he
in.
could.
I'm not
own
gonna-
it.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
do
yeah, okay. See, I'm a woman. I'm allowed to. That's
yeah.
not true.
I
Okay, let's stop this. I think we have to move on.
No, it's great. No, this is what the whole point of the segment called "Good Art, Bad People" is
Yeah,
about. Because
exactly.
bad people can make great art.
Yes,
I
agree.
Laura Lewis, Lady of Leisure, can make great art.
regardless of what you've done in the past.
I think my friends are okay with what I've done. My parents, they just don't know about it. So
Well, the thing about your parents is they're always going to be disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad, if you're listening at home, it's okay. Hopefully, my son Everett, your grandson, has made up for it.
oh, your son is so cute.
Oh, he's such a sweetie, and he's going to stop by the station too.
Is he really?
Yeah, Max is going to be by here in about half an hour. Pick him up from daycare, drop him off, and then we're going out for dinner. So, yay!
Get him on the mic.
Oh, he's maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. We were talking about any other artists that make good art.
Oh,
but they're bad people.
A lot
of
of film.
A lot of film.
There's a lot of like questionable.
Roman Polanski.
Yeah. Like that all happened at like Jack Nicholson's house. Like he was, they were all, the thing about like a lot of those guys, like Bill Cosby got caught, but people did that all the time from what I've read in like the 60s and 70s. He was just the one that didn't stop doing it.
Right.
But I think if you're drugging a woman, that's kind of stepping over a line.
Oh, 100%.
I'd say like a lot of lines.
A lot of lines, yeah. And again,
So many.
if you're tuning in, this is why the segment's called Good Art, Bad People. We're all firmly saying that these people are very bad people.
But you can tell me Thriller ain't a good song?
Thriller's a great song.
I still listen to Michael Jackson.
Yeah. How could you not? Like those songs, I remember...
Iconic.
Yeah.
So iconic. I remember one time I was living in Calgary. I was at a bar and the beat Thriller comes on and the drums and that song from like a musical engineering point of view, like an audio engine, like and play back on the good system. It's just like the drums are so kicky and so punchy and just masterfully
The
engineered.
Billie Jean drum bass like line.
Yeah.
Love it.
And apparently he sang through like a SM57 for like a lot of the songs.
Really?
Either an
A 57?
A 57 or a 7B, yeah, a lot of the
Really?
songs. So, which are, if you're not familiar with microphones, they're very inexpensive microphones. Some people tell you that you need like a $5,000 Neve microphone. It's like, well, if Michael Jackson did one of the top selling albums of all time on a $100 mic, then...
But isn't the 57 more instrumental?
Yeah, like
the
guitar.
58's more your like vocal if you were going to go...
Yeah, they're
For
both
sure.
they're both great. I bought a bunch for the station recently, and I like to think of like SM57s and 58s and 7Bs as they're like the Ford F-150.
Yeah.
You know, they're or like a Ford Ranger. You know,
The
like,
get her done of it.
yeah, they're not like Rolls Royce. They're not premium, but they're workhorses, man.
Yeah.
Like you, especially if you're doing live sound. Like shout out to Rolly Mitten. That guy does great live sound. I don't know if he uses 58s or 57s, but he knows what happens at a bar when you do live sound for years and years and years. And those mics get beat up. And a 58 or 57, they can take the beating and keep
There's
trucking.
like two wires. I've wired them back up with like ones that have died at the 98 and just pop them open, quick little solder.
Yeah.
Back in the mix.
Yeah, and then like often too with the 58, the capsule on there is just like it's like $5. You just like pull the capsule off, put a new one on. You know, everyone's talking about like doing mic drops. It's like, don't drop the mic.
Or swing it around your head.
Yeah, not because it's going to break the mic. Like the mic's probably going to be fine, but like, you know, no one wants to use a beat up mic. Okay, we're like 8 tangents deep right now. So let's let's take a listen back here. Your vocals.
Let's just go to the song.
You're gonna skip the vocals?
I mean, no, you can listen to them. They're just the same, but
okay.
There's not like 5 vocal tracks. I think there's just one, isn't there?
No, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's textures, there's layers.
Right. The different mics. Okay.
I'm gonna respect your wishes here.
No. Let's do it. I haven't.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought there was just one track.
Okay, let's take a listen back here. So we're gonna listen back starting from the top of the verse. This one here. It looks like when it was recorded, there were 4. There is Laura Room Verb, Laura Voc FX, Laura Voc Room, and then Laura Vocal. So it looks like it's just one vocal track, and then 3 layers of effects. So starting from the top here.
Like a crush, you sate your desire.
Oh, you sound so good.
It's not my voice.
It's
been massaged through technology.
Around the words falling from her pale lips on fire.
It sounds like you to me.
Oh, thanks.
Shake your head and all she feels the same. A fuse and a wire.
Awesome. Okay. So that's the main vocal. Let's go back to this one here. It says Laura Vocal Effects. So this guy. Oh, yeah. So there's like a little bit of a slap back and a little bit of verb on there. And then let's listen back to this one. There's Laura vocal room.
Really boxy.
Did you record the vocals at Jim's or at Jordy's?
At Jordy's. I'm trying to think. That was 6 years ago. That was 10 years ago.
And did you do you remember if you did like a lot of takes? Was it a couple takes? Was it?
Well, because I'm not really a singer, we ended up.
You're not a singer.
I'm not. Like people are.
If you're not a singer, then what am I?
Well, there's people who are sangas. If you watch The Voice, people who just like have a lot of control and they have range. I've got like an octave and a half or something of range, so I have no range, and I don't really know what I'm doing. So
it sounds like you know what you're doing.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay,
I'm not just trying to like brown nose either. I'm like, yeah, no, it sounds great.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and there's one more vocal. There's 4 tracks. It looks like this one comes in at the chorus, so it's probably just to make the chorus a little bit bigger. Laura room verb. Let's listen back to this one.
Diving deep.
This is a deep dive. Oh yeah, just a little bit more. And then let's listen to them all back together. There you go.
And it's real, the second desire.
I sound like an angel. Yeah. God darn it.
Yeah.
Do it a cappella.
I could. Bad idea.
One of the things. So I've recorded like a bunch of mostly just demos and albums and stuff like that, and one of the things people always talk about like auto tune as being like the main vocal technique for editing, but the thing that I was taught is comping. So a vocal comp is when you do like, let's call it 4 takes of vocals, and then you just basically listen back line by line and pick the best part of each line. And you can kind of like Frankenstein this vocal together. And
that's what we did.
Yeah. And vocal comping is, it's not auto tune. Mm-hmm. It's just taking the best parts of each take. And it, if done well, can take like, can turn into an amazing performance. But at the end of the day, that performance is mostly, mostly captured. Like the purpose is just to capture the performance well. The singer still has to sing it. There's no like pitch correction. There's no like, that type of stuff. And it's great. Okay, so it's 4:40 p.m.
Yeah.
We've been talking about Laura Lewis's song "It's Real." We've been doing a deep dive.
Does Steve want to like jump in here and say anything about anything? Do you want to say?
I just really enjoy it. It sounds so good.
Well, it doesn't have to be about this.
Oh.
Could be about your hat, which says Dover, Calgary. I don't know what that means.
It's a union.
It's a union, yeah. Oh. Steve's a big union guy.
I'm pretty left.
Oh my God. Maybe we won't get along.
Laura, weren't you a union woman?
I'd never saw my union card. Sorry, union people.
That's okay. We'll forgive you.
I still had to pay my union dues.
Yeah, that's okay.
As long as you're paying the dues, that's all we care about.
Yeah, I know.
Not scabbing.
That's what I look. When I first moved here, I couldn't find work as a geologist, but I got a contract with Yukon Geological Survey, and it was when I think it was 2002 when the territorial government had gone on strike, and I had to work in Elijah Smith building, I had to cross the picket line every day.
Oh no!
And
so this whole episode's turning into good art, bad people.
Yeah.
Hey man, I say whatever now.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time.
And I'm old. Whatever. We're
right.
all gonna die.
That is right.
Get over it.
Don't plan on it, actually.
You don't?
Well, I'd like to make it to like 120.
120?
Wow,
120 is my goal.
Terrible.
Why?
I'm not making the right life choices to do it, but
it's a nice even number. It feels like you'd be among the oldest who have ever lived.
I would
except
like
for
to get
Methuselah.
the 3rd century in. So that would give me like 2000s, 2001.
Right.
Like 2100s?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
The way things are going, I'm good. I'll be like, check please, I'm good.
I want to watch it burn. I want to see the downfall.
Really?
Oh man.
Do you want to see like Halley's Comet come again?
It's come again one more time.
One more time.
Holding
It
on.
was so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just like, just throw the VR headset on me and like I'll pretend it's real.
Give me the red pill.
Give me the red pill. That's right. Yeah. One question. So I was listening to a bunch of Toots podcast or radio show. Toots does a show called Shine Your Light. Shout out to Toots. Sundays on CJUC. It's great original content, original programming. He's just done 4 seasons. And I think every time he does a season, he's like, this is my last season. I never want to do a season. And then he ends up just doing another one. So one of the reasons we're doing this show today is to support local original programming. People like Shine Your Light, people like Toots and Bill and all of our friends at CJUC. Toots had an episode where he was talking to Elijah Beck. And Elijah was talking about one of the songs that he wrote. And Elijah's like, yeah, I think I wrote about 50 songs before I get one song that I like. And then I actually want to keep him perform live.
Really?
And Toots was like, I do like 3. So question to give a shout out to Toots and Shine Your Light and Elijah Beck and all those guys. Laura Lewis, how many songs would you say that you write before you like, no, this is the one?
So I've been doing this record production month thing in the month of February where you're supposed to write and record 10 songs. So I did that for like 3 years. I would say that I like 1 in 10 of my songs, but usually like the other ones, they're just not finished and it depends on how you write it. Like if it's based on a riff or like this melodic line, and then like finding the other pieces, like I've got a great chorus, but how do I get the other pieces?
Do you write with other people often? Like I find like Brett's wife, we write really well together because one of us will come with like, okay, I have like 1 verse and a hook, and like, okay, I have a chord progression, and like I can fill that out, and like
I know it's time. Whoever wants to write with me.
That's right.
Contact me through CJUC.
I feel like 1 in 10 is like if Elijah is the far end of the spectrum with like 50 songs and Toots was the other end with like 3 songs, I feel like 1 in 10 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was last night going through all my old music because I'm going to try and record an album next year, like a 6 song, not 12 songs. That's crazy. But apparently 12 songs is the standard. Rick Sword told me that. It's like 12 songs. It was, I can't remember who it was, but that was the standard set in the 60s or something.
Well, it's crazy, like, because in the 90s with CDs, it went way up. It was like 22 songs or 19 songs on the CD. And records are like 8 songs on like a record, and like it's kind of it's like TV show series. Like they used to be like 24 episodes. Now it's like if you can bring in a good 8-10 episodes, like call it a season, and just have one group. Get out all the filler that you're like, we can put in another 3 minutes with this one.
All killer, no filler.
Yeah.
Laura Lewis.
Yeah.
This is the 12th song.
Yes.
Off your album. Did you when you're picking the order of songs in your album, was that intentional?
Jordy and I completely disagreed.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I knew that we both knew this was going to be the last one. And I think we both agreed on the first one, but all the other ones. And I'm like, I don't know. How do you like figure out nobody listens to an entire album. Okay, you guys do. You, Brett, and Steve.
Right.
But like, you know, millennials. Sorry, millennials. So it was actually 10 songs originally.
Right.
And then Jordy was like, you need 2 more songs to make it 12.
To make it 12.
It's going to be 10.
And you don't think that he's like, actually, I have a visa to pay. And actually, I need like a little bit more money. So you got to do 2 more songs.
Jordy totally undercharged me for this album. And he put down all these background vocals for like 8 songs. And he's like, hey, I hope you don't mind. I did this in my spare time. Like, and then I'm like, it's awesome.
Good for Jordy. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about secret songs? Secret songs were big on the CD days. It was like mislabeled, or I forget what album it was. You put on the first song, but then you had to rewind it like 30 or like 2 minutes to get this like secret song that was before.
Like a tape
and
cassette. What? It's on a CD?
On CDs. It would start at like 0. But you could rewind it to like -2.
What?
and like find these
never heard of
hidden
that.
songs on.
I remember my first time experiencing a secret song on a CD was like, I don't know if it was Alanis Morissette or it was something when I was like, 10 years old, mid-90s.
Jagged Little Pill, Grace.
And just like putting an album on and just like listening to it in the background of the house. And then, the album just stopped. And then it was like silent for like 5 minutes. And all of a sudden a song started playing. I'm like, oh, what the heck, man? Like, why is there a song? Why is there music playing right now? What's going on? And then I was like, this is track 37? What is track 37?
Oh, yeah, because you play through like 20 blank tracks before it got there.
That's right. So this is actually another funny anecdote tying back into the Solstice fundraiser. A couple years ago, Clancy McGinnis, he did a radio show where he said, if anyone calls in and donates money to CJUC, if they donate $100, he will write them a song.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And so I'm like, done, $100, boom. Best money I've ever spent. And he wrote me a song. I think it took him like 3 weeks and probably like 20 hours to do. And so like $5 an hour, great spending with my money, like how often. So he wrote me a song called Brett is the Greatest in the World. And
do we have it on here?
Do you want me to play it?
I would love to hear it.
Let's play it after Laura's song.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I've been trying to like prime you guys all up, like play all these parts and stuff like that. But the funniest thing about this is that Clancy tried to do a secret song with it. So he recorded an album and put it out on Spotify, and he tried to do a secret song. So like you play his album, and then like there's like 2 minutes of silence, and then like the song starts, which is the Brett the Greatest or whatever it's called. and so Clancy just like submitted his album to CJUC, and then every once in a while like CJUC would be like shuffling Yukon music, and there'd be 2 minutes of dead air. And then Brett the Greatest comes on. And it's like, well, thank you, Clancy, for making like, one of the biggest things in radio is like no dead air, right? And it's like, all right, thanks, buddy. Dead air. So that's on us. But on that note, we've been talking about Laura Lewis's album, Love Lavatic.
So awkward. I wanted to do Love Lavatic, L-O-V, but that's Demi Lovato's, like, her fans are Lovatics, so.
Right. I'm also a giant fan of alliteration. Laura Lewis, Lady of Leisure, released the album Love Lavatic. So we're going to listen to the 12th song, the last song on the album. It's titled It's Real. The album came out October 23rd, 2017. Was that the year that weed was legalized, or was that the next year?
2017, October 17th.
Oh my God.
Oh wow, well, that's quite the coincidence. Okay, so
I was really jealous because they released it legalized on my brother's birthday on the 17th instead of my birthday on the 3rd of October. I'm like, I like weed way more than that. Bullshit.
Okay, on that note, we're gonna listen to the song "It's Real" by Laura Lewis on CJUC 92.5 FM. Oh, that's sorry. That sucks to be you by Prozac. This is wrong window. Here we go. So that was It's Real by Laura Lewis, who's happening to join me in the studio right now. Laura, do you have any closing thoughts on that song after listening to it for the last 7 minutes?
7 minutes. It's actually like a 4-minute song and then 3 minutes of outro.
Right.
But it's so cool what Geordie's doing. I got to just a sec. Let me grab my paper because I want to mention the effect.
Yeah. You said I can find the timestamp here. You said like around the 4-minute mark.
450.
450. Oh yeah, right.
He thinks he's playing this Fender Jazzmaster guitar through a Sherman filter bank.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up the guitars here. Pull up this. And let's listen back. Oh yeah, you can tell he's going deep in this.
Yeah, it's like, how weird can we make it? I love it.
I have so much respect for people who finish an album. I think a lot of people underestimate like how much work it is to record an album and produce an album and then finish it, from like how much time goes into the songwriting process, how much time goes into if you just do one 7-minute song, like how many minutes of takes is that? Like you do 3 takes of guitars, 3 takes of vocals, 3 takes of everything, there's bass.
Yeah.
That ends up being like, okay, the recording engineer is going to listen to the song on repeat for about 20 hours by the time the song's done.
Yeah. I mean, the lucky thing was we did the bed tracks, like the rhythm tracks at Jim's studio over 2 weekends. So it was like full day Saturday, full day Sunday, following weekend, full day Saturday, full day Sunday, and then that was it, wrapped up. And then that's
32 hours.
Oh yeah. Or actually probably more.
Oh, but that's for the entire album though.
Yeah.
That's for not just one song.
12 songs.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so 36 over 12, so that's, what is that, 3?
Yeah.
3 hours per song? That's not bad. That's pretty good.
I know,
That's very time efficient.
I know. It feels wrong somehow now.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Like, is that possible? Yeah. I loved working with Geordie because he's just really creative and he just has this very calm demeanor. But he gets excited about stuff. Anyway, he's a great guy.
Great guy. And
Jim Holland too.
And shout out to all the recording engineers in the Yukon. It takes a very special type of person to be able to sit down and listen to a song on repeat for 20 hours straight, just to get the kick right, the EQ of the kick right, to get compression right, to get like all those things, the balance guitars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how people don't go crazy. Like it took me 5 years, probably like $30,000 of gear before I'm like, I don't actually like doing this.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people do. Musicians, they're like, well, I'm just going to record my own stuff.
It'll be cheaper. Then
it's like, I hate this.
I hate this. It's awful.
Yeah.
So big shout out to all the recording engineers out there. Big shout out to all the musicians out there that have finished an album. Huge accomplishment.
Oh, can I just also mention that Dan Bauk, he played bass on half the songs, just not this song.
Yeah. Shout out Dan Boak. If you're looking for a financial advisor, he's mine.
Yeah, he's mine as well.
Yeah, great guy. We just hit 5 o'clock.
Oh,
I think that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to donate at CJUCFM.com. You can send e-transfers. You can pop at the station. We got one more full day tomorrow of the Solstice fundraiser. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll be back next time.
Sweet.
Have a good one. 3 days of killer live shows and exclusive content. We need your help. We're looking to raise $7,500 to keep the lights on at CJUC. This money will go towards original live programming and recruiting more volunteers. How can you pitch in? You can tune in to CJUC 92.5 FM or listen online at CJUCFM.com. There will be a silent auction and an open house. Come hang out with us, see what's up, and be part of the CJUC community. Thursday, December 21st to Saturday, December 23rd.
Daddy, can I turn on the little radio for a minute before I go to sleep?
Well, just for a minute or two, darling. I'll snap it on for you.
Adjust the volume, and the show is ready to go on.
Stay tuned for this special news bulletin. This Thursday to Saturday, we will be hosting the 4th annual Solstice Winter Fundraiser for CJUC FM. We're aiming to raise $7,500 to ensure that this station doesn't suck. I know you're wondering, how can I help this wonderful cause? And you can do so at CJUCFM.com. and it's up to you.